Welcome to another edition of Friday at 4:20. My name is Mike Neighbors, your host for the next 40 minutes as we feature some local Hamilton comedians and have a little bit of fun getting you into your weekend. Thank you so much for checking out the show, and we have a very special guest with us. She's back for round two, but before we get to our special guest, let's introduce our panel. As is always the case, we've tried to shake him. We can't. It's Patrick Capolino.
Buongiorno.
How are you doing, Patrick?
I'm good.
That's fantastic, man. You feeling good?
Yes.
I know before you've called me out sometimes that I don't. It seems that I'm not really interested in whether you really are doing well, but I am interested right now.
No, you never asked. You would just say,
Oh, that's
you
right.
would say, hi, Patrick. And then you go, so Manolis, how are you doing? And why don't you ever ask how I'm doing?
So it was brutally
But now you
obvious.
ask, but it's still, I don't feel it's genuine. So I just say I'm good.
I guess it's at least better than when I didn't ask at all. I am so sorry, Patrick. I'm glad you're doing well. This guy.
It makes sense to ask how I'm doing.
Manolis Zontanos. Well, because you just never know. You don't. I don't know where you're at.
You know what? Today after this show, I have to go pick up Donnie Coy to take him to the bank because he has to pay his cable because he hasn't paid it for I guess months.
He can't drive?
No, he can't drive. No.
He won't go
He
on.
barely walk.
He won't go on the internet and pay it, or
He doesn't know how to do that stuff,
doesn't know how to
dude.
do that either,
So I have to bring him to the bank,
Yeah.
and then,
and then you got to go out to the reserve to get smokes, and then you got to go to the liquor store to get Black Russian mix.
Right? Yeah, I know. If you want to know what Black Russian is it's vodka and Kahlua.
And Kahlua,
No milk. That's a Black
And that's
Russian.
how long has he been drinking Black Russians? Because that's all he drinks.
Right,
He's been drinking them for a long time.
Like I've been taking him to the liquor store for a good 20 years now, but
See what I mean?
What an amazing public service you're doing, a community service.
yeah, and like once in a while he'll say, you know what, I'm gonna switch it up, because I'm spending too much money. Like,
Oh, he wants cheaper Kahlua.
yeah. He's like, I'm just gonna go back to rye because rye and Coke's cheaper.
Sure it is.
Instead of mixing your alcohol with alcohol. For God's sakes. I tried and I'm like, I'll have one drink and then I finally went like, you know what? I'm going to buy some of this. I want to see how it is because I get a buzz. He loves them. So I drank like 4 of them at my house by myself and I had to stop. I was getting too drunk.
I was too drunk.
I love getting drunk and this was like, what's going
For those people listening who don't know, Donnie Coy is the godfather of Hamilton comedy. I mean, he was the guy who established Hamilton as a comedy hotbed. He ran Yuck Yucks for years, and Manolis looks after him because Donnie was instrumental in helping you get started.
Well, yes, but that's not why I help him. I help him because he has no one, and I have to. Or
you're a good man, Manolis Zontanos.
That's so lovely. Does he get a pension from Yuck Yucks?
No.
And the comedians all laugh out loud. Oh, that was a good one. Sandra Battalini, how are you?
I am fantastic.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so
you.
much for doing this again. We appreciate having you back. Recently, you had your new documentary make its debut.
Yes.
Yes, and it's
so
called
good.
The Mayor of Comedy, and it
Yep.
was so good. But on top of that, this would be something that we still want people to go out if you haven't seen it because we debuted at the Hamilton Film Festival. But make sure you find a format, a way to see The Mayor of Comedy because it's the story of where Canadian comedians sit right now and where we would like to see them go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'd like to lift everybody up, right?
We'd like, what we're working towards is trying to get the documentary, available for everyone to see. So we're just working those things out
Working
right now.
on those things,
yeah.
And meanwhile, you're also working with the Canadian Association of Stand-Up Comedians to try to lobby the government to get, first of all, stand-up comedy is not considered an art form in Canada, correct?
No, not officially. I mean,
and are the other things like what surprised me about that was that like music is an art form in Canada? Like, is it officially been designated that way?
yeah. So if you go to the Canada Arts Council website, when you create a profile, you have to identify a field of practice.
Okay.
And so what we've been lobbying for is to have comedy. One of the pull down menus, one of the fields
It's
of
not
practice.
there.
So there's 11 right now, which circus is, music is.
I'm sorry.
Circus is, yeah.
Circus.
Yeah. And they did what we did. They lobbied the government several years ago.
Sure they
got. I'm a clown too. I've worked with the circus. I know it's
Okay.
crazy. Which I have never applied for a grant on that level. But theater, literary. There's like multidisciplinary is one field of practice. Multidisciplinary.
What does that even mean?
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
So we've now had 2 meetings with the Canada Arts Council. And over the past summer in 2019, they put out a communication piece about if you are a comedian, this is how you apply. But you still cannot apply as a comedian. You have to apply
For any kind of art grants or any kind of
you have to
right?
you have to identify yourself as a theater artist. My argument the whole time has been that there is no greater there's no more like it is theater. This is there's no more immediate theater than stand-up comedy.
Alone
so there's
on a stage in front of a crowd
exactly.
by yourself.
Yeah,
your material.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's the fight that we're having with them.
Well, let's continue that fight.
Yeah.
Is there a website?
Yeah, CanadianStandUp.ca.
CanadianStandUp.ca. Please visit the website. Find out more information. You can donate to help us with our push. Right? And I think we need to take a note from the circus people, because all you got to do is threaten Ottawa with, hey, we're going to march elephants onto Parliament Hill if you don't make circus an Arts Council grant application, right?
Yeah.
So we need to get elephants. Guys, you set us up with some elephants?
I like elephants.
Well,
so.
who doesn't like elephants? Everybody loves elephants unless you see them marching towards you and you're an MP.
I think I know a guy. I'll make a couple calls.
I think I know a guy. You know what? I got $10 says Donnie Coy sees elephants. All right, let's play our game, shall we? It is called Friday at 4:20. We have 12 random topics and 12 random envelopes, official Bell Media envelopes, in case anyone's wondering, because they say Bell Media right on them. And because I got them for free from the station. And we've got our Plinko board set up. So, Sandra, we'd ask you to please Plinko.
Sure thing.
So we can get our first random topic of this edition of Friday at 4:20 to get you into the weekend laughing. Number
7.
Number 7. Sandra Battalini, your first topic is... What's your favorite Christmas song? You can only pick one. You can only pick one, and you don't have to sing it, but you can if you want.
Can't stay.
Yeah, I was going to say it too.
Baby, it's cold outside. Why not? It's the best.
That was banned.
Especially after the
I know.
controversy.
It was
It's even
banned.
better
No,
now.
I know, but
year.
now isn't it back with the new lyrics?
Well, some places...
New lyrics?
Some people brought it back. Some people tried to redo it with new lyrics.
You might get in trouble for me
There's
saying
still
I might get
a
complaints.
ban on.
Okay. Well, anyways.
It's banned, baby. It's cold outside. It's banned.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, Sandra, of course, goes X-rated. First question out of the gate. Nice. Nice. We're gonna have to edit all that out now. Can't even say the name, baby. It's cold outside on the radio.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really missed
though,
I really missed the. I don't know. It just came up. I did a sketch one time to that song. So
it reminds you. It makes you happy.
yeah, you're right. It is. I mean, we've been talking. Years ago, we're talking about how those lyrics were like.
Yeah,
oh, I think
I've
you're-
always thought that.
Yeah, I think you're really forcing.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
But it's
not
from
cool.
the beginning. It's everybody thought that. It's just now people choose now to be offended.
Yeah.
Like years later, like when it's like I don't
Well,
think.
because of global warming, man. It's not cold outside. Damn it! Don't you care about the planet?
Or the is it like I also like come they told me what's that
little drummer boy,
little
Rumpa
drummer
Pum
boy.
Pum.
Yeah, a Rumpa Pum.
That's a good one.
That-
Okay, that's
that's-
got rum in
yeah,
it
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So, yeah.
What's that song? Rocking around the Christmas
That's
tree?
right.
I
That's
like
that. Is that your favorite?
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's what it is. Is that
That's
what
a
it's
Christmas
called?
song.
Is that what it's called?
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
Okay,
yeah.
that one. I'll pick that one.
Rocking around
Yeah.
the Christmas tree at the Christmas
Patrice?
party hop. See, there you go.
Have you seen the Christmas shoes?
Oh, Christmas
Please, sir, can I
shoes.
buy these shoes for my mama, please?
Yes. She's going to see Jesus for
I
Christmas.
want her to look beautiful when mama meets Jesus tonight.
I've never heard this
Oh,
song.
so it's a song with this kid trying to buy nice shoes because his mom's about to die. So he wants her to look pretty when she meets Jesus.
Christmas shoes when she
And that's why it's my favorite because it kills the mood at every
Oh,
Christmas.
it is one of the saddest Christmas songs ever. And then there was a movie with Rob Lowe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
The song came first. And then they thought, oh, this is so good, let's make a movie.
Yeah.
Rob Lowe's in the Christmas Shoes movie. That's an awesome pick. I love that. You know what? The thing is, I'm actually a sucker for stupid, sad songs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like the Christmas shoes. It's so sad.
It's really
when Mama
depressing.
meets Jesus
Yeah.
tonight.
Oh,
It's like,
wow.
wow. So anyway, he doesn't have enough money for the Christmas shoes. The kid doesn't. So then the guy behind him
Buys them.
pays it forward. He goes, "I'll take care of this for your mama."
But there's a music video. The guy who wrote the original song,
Yes.
and he looks like Guy Fieri.
Really?
Yeah.
So bad.
So this is like when you like buy like a coffee for the
That's
guy behind
exactly it.
I
Exactly.
did this. I did this at Thanksgiving. I was at Loblaws, and there were 2 kids ahead of me, and the one kid was trying to pay for Asiago cheese, and his debit card didn't work. So I was like, "Hey, you know what? I'll take it. I'll pay for it." And the kid's like, "Really?" And then he hugged me, and I'm like, "I love you."
Oh,
I mean,
isn't
I don't
that
think the kid.
sweet?
I know. I was like, I'm gonna pay for this Asiago. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be proper if I didn't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm gonna deny this kid Asiago. He's a white. You know what I mean? He's a white kid Asiago for Thanksgiving. Let's be honest.
There was a kid in front of me in line, didn't have enough money for his pop and candy or whatever, and it's like it was 30 cents. I'm like, oh, I'll just pay for it, and then she charged me for the whole thing and gave him his money back.
Oh, he didn't get to pick up the extra. You picked up the whole bill.
I picked the whole bill. I'm like, he's like walked away all this free candy and like
And
$2.50
money.
and money. And I'm like, this is hilarious. It made me even happier because it was so hilarious that it happened to me.
On Thanksgiving, I was going through a Tim Hortons, and I get up to the window to pay, and then the lady says to me, "Oh, the car in front of you has paid for your order," and says, "Happy Thanksgiving." And it never happened to me before. And so I kind of froze on the spot. So I go, "Thanks," and then drive away. And then as I'm driving away, I think, damn it, I should have paid for the, right?
Next time, no,
I'm
it's-
supposed to pay for the.
But someone's got to break that chain, though.
I broke it, man. I killed that chain. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. And I'll take it. That's it.
I feel like if you leave like some people leave like $40 at the cashier, and like whoever just use this for other people's food.
okay,
Like,
okay.
I don't trust anyone to actually do that.
No,
Right, I
no.
know, I
You know,
know.
That's
it
going
depends
in
who's
the,
working behind the
it's
counter.
going in the
right?
kid's pocket,
Yeah.
man. Absolutely. Your turn to play. Go there, Manolis Zantanos. Now that we've got
Yeah.
all these terrible Christmas songs stuck in your head. Number 5, Manolis
Mama's shoes.
rocking around the Christmas tree with Manolis. I bet you. Here's a good comedy question for all my comedy friends in here. What's the best heckle you remember? Did anybody ever get you really good with something and you went, "Wow, dude, that was."
You got one?
So just whether it was the line
Oh.
or whether it was just the moment where they just crisply got you and you were like, "Wow."
This girl
game,
said-
set and match.
This girl says to me, and I went on a date with this girl years prior to this.
Of course you did.
And I met her at a bar, and then apparently, like, she was 19 when I went on a date with her. But apparently, the truth was she was 17.
Oh,
But nothing ever happened between us.
Okay.
I made out with her
yeah.
this is years ago, okay?
Yeah.
And then she comes to my show and just blurts out and says, "Manolis tried to have sex with me when I was 17 years old."
Oh, wow.
For no reason.
Best heckle ever.
And what'd you say?
So the audience was all quiet, and I just go like this. I go, "Actually, she's telling the truth." And everybody just started laughing, and then I just moved on.
You just move forward.
And she was so mad. She was like, thought like this was somehow gonna ruin my
gonna
career.
devastate you,
This
right?
is like this story's like 15 years old.
How old
but-
were you when she was 17?
Well, I was probably I don't know, probably 30.
What?
Well, I thought she was 19.
But still, what's
wow.
the difference?
Well, I met her like
I think-
I found out years later.
Manolis just
about
ruined
this
his career right here.
17-year-old thing.
Hilarious. That's.
We met at a bar.
Famous last
But
words.
when you saw her, were you like, you look 19, or you were just like, hey, it's just, you know?
Oh, she looked 21.
Yeah, okay.
She looked 30.
I know
She looked
did.
45. She looked 100. She
Patrick-
looked 200 years old.
Patrick Coppolino. Best heckle you remember.
To bring it back to Christmas.
Oh, great.
This
yes.
is
Christmas theme.
probably like in the first like 2 years of me doing stand up. So all I had was like 20 minutes, and it was mostly dirty stuff. But I got booked on a Christmas show at a nice venue in Ancaster, and I was easily like the dirtiest one on the show.
Right.
All old people. I think they paid like decent money because it was like a dinner and show thing. And I could tell during my set that it wasn't going great already. But then this old man stood up and he started walking out, and I'm like, "Sir, where are you going?" And I'll never forget. It was like straight out of a movie. He turned around and he goes, "You, sir, have ruined Christmas." And then that was the biggest laugh of the night. And then he
That's
laughed.
amazing.
Was he 17?
Oh, I love it. Oh, that is good.
You, sir, have ruined
That's
Who has
amazing.
ruined Christmas. I was like, oh,
I would
wow.
pay someone to do that.
Oh, I want to see that in a movie now. That's awesome. That is really good.
That's amazing. I love that.
Sandra Battalini, you got anything for me, kid? What do you got?
So it was the closing night of one of my solo shows. Classy Lady, right? Was it? No, it wasn't Classy Lady. It was the one before that.
Oh, yeah.
Hard-Headed Woman.
Hard-Headed Woman.
That's what it's
the
called.
Elvis song.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was the closing night, and there was someone in the audience who was like, "I got to go to the bathroom," and I'm like, "Go to the bathroom." Like, there's still way more show to happen. And so this guy goes to the bathroom. When he came back, he threw a bottle of what appeared to be his urine at me.
Oh, wow.
And it deflected off my arm, my forearm, and then landed in front of me. And the tech person, which was the director, Mark Andrada, like shone a spotlight, and I just was like, everyone was horrified. Because he's like, I'm like, "Is that your urine?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, ugh. I froze.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I couldn't come back from it. Like, it was such a lesson in like having to deal with something. Like the night before, the Friday night should have been my closing night because it was magnificent. Saturday night, this happens, and I couldn't sleep for a week. And then I went to Cuba, and then they didn't end up charging me on my credit card, so it was all worked out.
Oh, wow.
But it was just so like, I'm like, I didn't deal with this. It just felt so awful.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, you sit there and you kind of prepare yourself, or your training prepares you for a certain amount, but not someone coming back from the washroom throwing their urine
No,
at you. I
no.
mean, no one is going to be ready for
No,
that. That's
it was
insane.
terrible.
Was it really his?
I think so. I mean, that it looked like it.
Like, who carries a bottle around to urinate in?
Well, that's it. But the fact that he threw
Besides
it at me, and it
Manolis.
was like, it was just so.
Why did he do it?
Well, exactly. I think he was just not well. Yeah,
Yeah.
he just wasn't well.
Wow, man.
I like how
Well, that's-
there would have been an explanation that he'd be okay with. Oh, well, I understand.
yeah.
Well, yeah. Even if you like, there's a reason why you pissed in a bottle. Then at that point, like, I must throw this on someone.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, now, I mean, hindsight being 2020, but if you had just looked at him and said, "You, sir, have ruined Christmas," that would have been.
Yeah,
That would have
exactly.
been a hell
Yeah,
of a
it would have
comeback.
been. It totally would have been.
Whose turn is it to play? Go ahead there, Mr. Capolino.
Woo.
Actually, I think Patrick's version of Christmas shoes on the radio may have ruined Christmas for some people. So
Yeah.
we might be still working with that theme, buddy. What do you got there?
12.
Number 12 on Friday at 4:20, Sandra Battalini, our special guest from the Canadian Association of Stand-Up Comedians, a fine comedian in her own right. What is your favorite ice cream flavor, Patrick? Favorite ice cream flavor?
Heavenly Hash.
Because it has hash in it, or just because you like the name of it?
I don't
or
even know what's
because-
in it. It
you
just
don't even
tastes
know. I knew. I knew it.
Isn't it hazelnut
damn
or
it.
something?
You know what? I have no
I could be
idea
wrong.
either. I don't know. It never,
I just
never
like that,
appealed
yeah.
to me. Heavenly hash never appealed to me, despite
that-
having hash.
That or chocolate mint.
Chocolate mint. You like chocolate mint?
Yes.
Do you? Okay, I can't do chocolate mint, man. Manolis, are you a big ice cream guy? Do you
I'm not big. Actually,
No,
I do
like
like
a
it.
nice soft serve once in a while or something. You got a
Oh, yeah.
Dairy Queen. You get yourself a nice banana split.
Everybody loves a banana.
Oh, the banana split's the best.
I like the chocolate chip. Like when you get like chocolate chip.
Vanilla ice cream with chocolate chips in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, chocolate chip ice cream.
But my only issue with ice cream is like growing up as a kid, my parents were like just cheap or just maybe poor. I don't know. And
He's never sure.
but they would just never buy ice cream. We have it sometimes, but then we'd run out of ice cream. They'd never buy more, but we'd only have cones. You know how desperate, how just like sad it is when you're just eating the cone?
Oh, no ice cream.
Because there's no cookies. My dad won't like. My dad's like, no. So it's a European attitude. Like, no, you don't need the garbage food. Like so, like
Yeah.
so, like, but you still a kid. And you're craving something.
Craving
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of those
So then you
sugars.
break down and you're just eating the cone.
Yeah, with no
That's
ice cream.
hilarious.
No ice cream. It's
That
so, no
is-
ice cream. It's so depressing.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
still completely conflicted in your head whether it was because you were poor or your parents just hated you.
Yeah, well, it could be a combination of both. It was very dry.
Ice cream cones are really dry.
Yeah.
Sandra, are you a big fan of the ice cream?
Oh yeah. I
Oh,
love
yeah?
gelato, like
Oh, really?
hazelnut and maybe stracciatella.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? No, is it? Yeah.
That's soup.
That's soup. What is in there? No, it's you're right. Okay, but I like Italian soup.
Put that in a cone.
I'd like to
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that
yeah.
in a cone, yeah.
There is a stracciatella ice cream, isn't there?
What with like
Maybe
egg?
not stracci. No, it's something else.
Flavored?
I don't know. I mean, I like hazelnut, and there's a shop by my place, Ed's Real Scoop. So they do like something with caramel also, like or
Oh, yeah. Salty
cheesecake.
caramel or?
Yeah, salty caramel.
Salty caramel.
Rock it, and roll
Lovely.
it.
You had me at salty. Whose turn is it to play?
Oh,
Sandra, you're back up to bat. All right. Sandra Battalini is back up to bat. And here we go. It's Friday at 4:20.
this chair's killing my leg.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Well, we can't.
No, it's okay.
We don't want anyone to be too comfortable.
Yeah.
That's important in this studio.
Yeah.
Don't want you staying longer than is advisable. Sandra, what is the last movie you saw?
The last movie I saw. Oh,
The
was
Mayor of Comedy.
well, I Toronto After Dark. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
What a fantastic documentary that
Oh
is.
my God! Thank you so
The
much.
Mayor of Comedy,
Yeah.
and please find it at your local, wherever you can, your local. Maybe they have
Internet.
the DVD at the corner store,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
The Mayor of Comedy is a great documentary about Sandra and her friends' battle to make stand-up comedy important in Canada. It really is about it being important, being
Recognized.
It already is important. Being recognized as important as it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Great comedians we've created. This country's created some of the greatest comedians on the planet.
Yeah.
And people aren't getting their due back home.
Yeah, and this has been part of our pitch to the government, the Minister of Heritage, which is like, comedy is one of our country's greatest legacies,
Yes.
and we're not talking about it.
No.
So, when we were there in May, I said to them, I'm like, look, let's forget the United States. Like, it's too hard to go in. It's difficult. It's problematic, and it's costly. Let's instead focus on getting comedians outside of the country, because we really believe we're in line with the new directive from the Minister of Heritage, which is to find new ways to export Canadian culture and identity.
Right.
And we don't believe we believe that there's no other better way or cheaper way. And they were like, oh, yeah, right. Because, like, if
Because
you're
it's
touring
super,
a band.
it's super inexpensive, right?
Yeah.
To put together a great show,
Yeah.
film it, and then you've got an hour-long special that you
Yeah.
can then shop around the world.
And then it elevates the status of that comedian.
And it elevates the status of Canada,
Yeah.
right? I mean, because quite often they're doing jokes about what it's like being Canadian
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? All that
And
cool
that's
stuff.
really it. That's really the big.
awesome.
Yep.
That's excellent. Sandra, what number did Sandra get?
3.
Oh, yeah, your movie. I'm sorry.
Oh, we did it. Yeah, you did it. You did it already.
All right, yes. Manolis, what was the last movie you saw?
I saw this-
And you can't say The Mayor of Comedy.
I saw this documentary
Yeah?
about this clown that wanted to do stand-up comedy.
Oh, yeah.
The Joker?
It's awesome.
Yes, it was called The Joker.
The Joker. Yeah.
I'm like, it's so interesting.
Did you
I'm
see
like,
The Joker?
Yeah, I did.
And was it really? Because it looks really dark.
It's super dark. It's right up your alley if you're into like.
I thought you were saying my alley. I'm
You're-
not. I'm
if
bright
you're
and
into-
shine. I'm bright and happy, man.
I don't think you'll want
I'm
it.
not- I don't like
after
dark.
the Christmas song you told me about. No,
I know.
don't go see The Joker.
Oh, no. I like the Hallmark movies.
I
man.
like-
Don't take me to The Joker.
I like movies where people are just ready to burn down everything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, Manolis lives his life ready. Just at any moment, totally happy. You love everybody, but at any moment you might set a match to it.
well, it really just depends on the situation. But yeah,
Sure.
Like,
But yeah,
I'm
he's always got
always
matches.
if you're cool, I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a mirror, dude. That's all.
Patrick
That's
Capolino,
what clown is.
last movie you saw.
Yeah.
I also saw The Joker.
Oh, excellent.
That was the last one.
What did you think of The Joker?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it did they spend too much time on the darkness, or was there
No, I see people complaining about the pacing, but I much prefer that over like a action-packed
super
Batman
fast,
movie.
flashing
Yeah.
lights and all that kind of stuff.
It was interesting.
Was it interesting because the Joker starts out with he is like trying to be a stand-up comic.
Kind of. He's like one of those. Yeah, he reminds you of a lot of people in the comedy scene.
So it was.
He's like a guy who goes around telling people he's a comedian, but like
Okay.
he's actually never really done it.
But he's not really
There's a scene where he
funny.
goes on an open mic and he bombs.
Okay.
But the movie's all about it's about mental illness and how
Yeah.
the system fails people who have a mental illness.
Right.
And then it shows you what happens if you don't
Yeah.
address it.
Wow.
So it's interesting.
That's
It's
pretty
really
cool,
good.
man. All right. Whose turn is it? Manolis, get up there. Stop checking your emails and drop up Linko Puck, buddy. Wow.
Oh, Ocho.
Manolis has to stay connected
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. So he never knows when that email's coming in going, Manolis?
I'm a comedian. I get
Manolis,
background work gigs. I have to.
Manolis,
Yeah.
I'm 17, but I look 19, and I'd like to have sex with you. That's the email he's waiting for.
Yeah.
Just to clarify,
She didn't say 17. She just said 19. I
we
know.
didn't have sex. And
Oh, that's right. That's
we
right.
we
But it
did
was
make out
it was a
standing. So
it was a great-
standing. You know,
Yeah,
when you make
yeah,
out
yeah.
with someone standing.
Oh, yeah. Totally. I totally know that. Yeah, I
You
get
guys
it.
are stand-up comics. That's what you do. And you do everything standing up. What catchphrase today do you wish would go away? Is there anything that the kids are saying these days that you're like, oh, please just,
I like.
I don't need to be woke.
I like.
Not that I'm helping you with woke.
I like how dudes will do this lot. They'll say guy.
Oh, hey, guy.
Yo, guy.
Guy.
Guy. I
I
don't
say
actually-
that. I say that.
I don't want it, but I don't want it to go away. But
Oh.
but I know I can see how it's annoying. But I think that's
Right.
why I like
But
it.
you say dude.
I say dude. I say dude
Yeah.
too much.
You say, well,
But he
that's
asked
your
you,
thing.
what do you want it to go away?
Yeah.
What catchphrase do you want to go away?
Thank you, Sandra, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
I
kind.
know, yeah.
This is the kind of
Okay.
mess I put up with every week. I wish you were here every week to keep the boys on track.
Yep.
I can't think of
Something, there's nothing that anybody's saying that you go, oh, please, would they just stop with that? It doesn't
no.
have to be a special catchphrase. It could be anything that you just like. Just stop.
I can't.
I don't want that anymore in my life.
I can't think of a.
Nothing.
Throw some sayings at me. Is there any?
I don't know.
I don't even know any.
I'll throw
I'm s-
Patrick Capolino
okay.
at you. Patty C, you got anything? Patty C, you got something? What do you got?
I don't like how you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Because the kids are that's all they're putting on
That's
the
all they
internet.
say now.
That's all they're saying.
Have you never?
No,
have you
I don't
ever?
like lit
yeah.
Oh, lit.
or fam.
See? Or fire. Everything is fire,
Fire.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's making me crazy. Everything can't be fire.
Yeah.
Does that bother you, Manolis? Any of those?
I like lit.
You like
I like
lit?
lit. Fire can go away.
Fire
yeah,
can go away.
I'll
Yeah.
say fire.
Lit's good. Patrick, are you're standing by? Lit has to go.
Yeah, I guess.
There's good.
Or woke.
Do you even lift, bro? Do you even lift, bro?
You even
Lift,
lift,
bro?
What is that?
The guy, gym guys will do that.
Oh, do you even lift, bro?
Or
Okay.
finna. Have you heard finna?
No.
Like
Well,
it's,
maybe.
I think it's supposed to be like going to, like gonna. Are you gonna go?
Oh.
You finna see the movie?
What the hell? Where the hell does that come from?
Wow.
Finna.
Oh my
finna.
God.
Finna.
Yeah, it's all the short forming, right? It's all like crazy. It's
But
funny-
like they're not saving any letters or time.
No. The thing about you're gonna lift, bro, is funny because one of my daughters had two young men who were in pursuit, and
Continue.
one of them was a guy she was kind of dating, and he was kind of a skinny fella and not an overly large fella. The other guy was big, and he had big, like he was a big built kid.
Okay.
Right? So he says, so the two guys are standing there and they're talking. They've met for the first time, and they're both interested in my daughter. But the big guy says to the other guy, he just looks at him and just goes, how do you even lift things up with those arms? It's like, wow. Like just a smack. It's like, that is awesome.
And that's
Oh.
so
anyway.
he won your daughter's hand then.
They both were tossed to the curb. Yeah, that's not the first time. Sandra, something you'd like to see go away.
Out of the box.
Out of the box thinking.
Oh, that was so
Ooh,
corporate.
we
People-
gotta-
when I was
Oh,
when I was in the
yeah.
corporate world like 20 years ago,
yeah.
the box out of the box
We were
was
s-
there.
we were
Still,
out of
it's still
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. You know what? Quite often, and I've had that, and I always, if I'm in a meeting and somebody says that, I will quite often jump in and go, we've been thinking out of the box for so long. Maybe we should think in the box for a while.
Yeah.
Like, let's try that. That's something new.
I work for this marketing firm, and one of her marketing leave-aways was a box. where it said, hire us for your marketing. I was like,
Oh, no.
get out of my face.
Okay. Out of the box has to go.
She used to eat tuna every day.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I have a boss who loves to
Out of
say,
the can.
you know
Tuna
what?
out of the can.
Tuna out of the can. That's what
Tuna
we'll do.
out of the can
Oh,
with a
it's
little bit
brilliant.
balsamic vinegar.
It's genius.
And she drove a Porsche. I mean, you drive, you have tuna out of the can, and you drive a Porsche. Does that make any sense to anybody?
I have a boss who's if you give an answer for something, and then he'll say, and if he doesn't like your answer, he'll kind of go, I don't think that's the special sauce this time.
Sauce. Ugh. What about
I hate it.
sayings that people say wrong when they say like I could care less
All right.
when it's supposed to be I couldn't care less?
Yes, that's right.
So I could care less.
Yes,
has gotta
I could
go.
care less. Yes. Well, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
Well, other ones people get wrong. Speaking of getting things wrong, whose turn is it to Plinko?
Patrick.
Well, he never gets it wrong. Patrick, drop a Plinko puck Friday at 4:20.
just
Sandra
do it?
Battalini. He may have. I think Patrick quite
It doesn't
often
matter.
goes twice.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. We all get to talk about the
he
topic
did the
anyway.
first one.
He
What
did?
was it,
Okay.
7?
6.
No, 6.
Six,
Yeah,
number
'cause
six.
Nancy's 7.
I love 6. 6 is one of my favorite ones. I don't even know what it is. Here we go. Oh. What
Not
are
a
you
good
laughing
look.
already?
I don't know. You give me a look.
No, I was like in the middle of a burp.
Oh,
Oh, excuse me. Give me a girl's name that you love.
Esther.
That was so quick.
That's my daughter's name.
I know. He kind of had a lead in on this
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's tossed out. Okay, give me a second girl's name. What's the
Patrick.
Yeah,
2019.
if you have another,
The other
if
one.
you have another daughter, you got another name. You got another name handy there, Mr. Smarty Pants.
Your wife?
Lindsay.
Lindsay. I don't know how Manolis. I used
I
to
like
think,
all
how
of
does Manolis put up with him? Now I think, how does Lindsay put up with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I've met Lindsay, I'm
I
like,
should be smarter than you.
oh wow. Oh yes. Speaking of which, Manolis, I need a woman's name that you like.
Like.
Yeah, not the woman herself. I need the name.
Oh, a name that.
Name. Like potentially what you might name a daughter.
I like the. Well, I wouldn't name my daughter this, but I like the word. I like the name Sally. It's such
Yeah,
a bad.
if you've named your kid Sally, that's just weird. Sally's.
Or like Rhonda. I like Rhonda too.
Ah, of course, Sally and Rhonda. That's
But they'd be friends.
wow.
He's like Manolis is from the 50s.
I want to be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes.
like Rhonda. Like it's a great name. You're like
Rhonda!
Rhonda, go to your room.
Rhonda.
Sally, what were you thinking, Sally? You like names that you want to say in the conversation.
See, Sandra.
I just dropped the. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
what happened?
you dropped the Plinko puck?
I got it,
Don't worry.
Okay.
You have to know that Manolis uses Sally in his comedy bits when he needs a female name. He
Oh,
uses
okay,
the name
okay.
Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Sandra?
Karen's a good one.
I love the name Francesca.
Francesca.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds very elegant, doesn't
Yeah,
it? It's
yeah.
a very elegant name, Francesca. Would you like to have been a Francesca if you weren't a Sandra? you think about
Yeah,
that? Yeah?
potentially, yeah.
Did you like your name growing up? Did you like Sandra?
Yep.
Yeah?
My,
You were
but my
okay with
parents,
it?
like, I was named after my uncle,
Sandro.
Alessandro. And my parents
Alessandro.
didn't want to call me Alessandra because they were afraid people were going to call me Alex. I'm like, that would have been fun. But here you go, Sandra. Boom.
See, and I was named for my grandfather, whose name actually was Francis. But he went by Mike because he didn't like the name Francis.
And where does the last name Neighbors come?
That's Dutch. Naburs.
Now, yours.
So I got the name Mike because thank goodness he didn't like Francis, so I didn't get stuck with Francis.
Mike Neighbors is a classic name.
Yeah.
Mike.
I met
so
one of your
great.
neighbors today, or the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were at the
One of my
Lamberton.
actual neighbors.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like, because he pointed out your picture at the club.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like, he goes, oh, that's my neighbor. I'm like, you're Mike Neighbor's neighbor?
Yes, I know.
I can't remember his name, though. I apologize.
You never remember their names. It's awesome. Whose turn is it to Plinko? We got time for one more
Oh,
topic,
Plinko.
maybe. Oh, Sandra, one last chance before we. That one paused for a second there. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, I didn't know if it was gonna.
Unos.
Oh
no.
What? We did. We have one. We have one or 9 available.
Oh, one. We'll do one.
We do one.
Sure.
Well, Sandra Plinko, she should decide. 1 or 9.
One.
One. Okay. All right. Let's make it easy. Make it easy on the guy with the envelopes. Here's an interesting question, I think. From what you've seen, personal opinion, kids today, do they have it easier or harder than kids in your day?
Way easier.
Way easier?
Seriously.
Yeah, there's not too much stuff going on. There's not Like, I mean, we were talking earlier about being bombarded with stuff, and you know.
Okay. From that point of view, that's difficult. But I just feel like, when it comes to everything else, like, you know, I was working with some people where there were a lot of young people,
right,
on the project. And they were forgetting things left, right, and center. I'm like, that's because you didn't have pressure. You didn't have like, and you didn't have immigrant parents. Like, I think everybody should have immigrant parents because they don't take shit. Like,
that's what Manolis says. So I think there's a lot of.
I mean, at the same time, like, I do think there's a lot of really, you know, it's not like I think this generation is lost by any means.
Absolutely not. No, it is just perspective. I mean, it's our perspective coming from a different generation. I don't think young kids today they don't have the perspective because they didn't live another generation. But we've seen kind of both, and you do, and there are. It's certainly not a black and white answer. There are things that are more difficult now, things that are easier now. But the overall sense would
easier, please.
That it's a little bit
get out of here,
right? Easier.
Come on,
Manolis, what do you think? You've got a lot of wisdom. You've been on the planet a long time.
All a bunch of bums, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
They're definitely things are easier, but also it's just the system has made them lazy.
Yeah,
it's easier to become like I think every teenager now is retired.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't
know. They walk around retired.
Yeah,
it's true.
I feel like I'm in Florida. I'm like, this is like does like
and the accent they're like, oh my god, you want to go to the mall?
Yeah.
Like, what is that whiny shit?
And what do you do? Don't you like? I'm not saying work, but don't you want to do something?
Yeah.
Do something.
They're having trouble figuring it out.
They
got all the time in the world.
They need to.
I think you were saying about lazy. One of the things, and again, so it's a personal opinion, but I just keep seeing parents, and this goes back to the immigrant parents portion of this, which is parents today are just way too easy on them.
Yeah.
Parents, like, it's just too soft. Oh, don't worry, Billy. I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You don't have to worry about that. I'll go deal with this for you. And it's like, no, make them deal with stuff.
Like, it makes me so
they're
annoyed.
They're going to have to deal with stuff their whole life.
I live in Leslieville, in this street that's one of the streets that's very close to me. Oh, the parents are playing with the kids, and they're so annoying. The parents are so annoying. I'm like, can you leave these children just to play?
Just let them work it out.
I bet you
right?
any money
it's so annoying.
if you looked into it, like found out like if there's like more teenagers getting pregnant now than before, I bet you it's lower.
Yeah, I think that's what they say.
I picture teenagers are like too lazy to have sex. I think they're like, I'd have to go over their house.
I mean, I think that also because of social media, it makes it more difficult to connect. So if that means having less sex,
and it's crazy, right? Because the one thing is that we just don't even understand social media and the impact it's having on stunting their ability to communicate and or changing. Let's say not stunting, changing their ability to communicate in different ways. And they're in constant touch with each other, and yet they know nothing about each other. How is that even possible? Patrick Coppolino, we'll jump in here, buddy. What do you think? Kids today, easier or harder? Now, you just recently turned 30, so you're the youngest member of our panel. And
you have a kid.
From your perspective,
I think their adulthood's going to be more difficult because of the things that's making their childhood easy.
Oh, okay. So
all the points you guys were making.
An easier ride means you're going to have more stuff you're going to have to confront on your own eventually.
Yeah,
right?
That and but yeah, even with the social media and stuff, like I'm probably like the only one here who had internet in high school. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't. So like even at like my daughter's age, there was no internet or anything like that. So I think that's a huge problem, just the social media and the entitlement, and everyone thinks they're a celebrity or wants to be a celebrity.
Wow, that's the celebrity thing.
But because now it's like, because it used to be like, some kids wanted to be movie stars, some kids wanted to be rock stars, but other kids wanted to be astronauts and whatever. Now it's like everyone wants to be famous or have the most friends or have the most likes.
Fascinating in a room with 4 people who all want to be celebrities. That's interesting.
No, you never asked us that question.
But
we all want to be famous, damn it.
Yeah. But I think in terms of like actually being a kid, they have it way easier. Like, I don't know.
Right,
Like the same thing. Like,
obviously.
They're so much easier entertained.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
My parents worked, like, before, I always say this, I'm like, before kids used to work for their parents. Now parents work for their kids.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Even when you're a kid and you want something to eat, you used to have to like make something to eat. Now it's just there's a freezer full of things that you put in a microwave, right?
Oh, wow.
It's like
Yeah,
crazy out there. So now kids, I don't know that my kids ever learned how to make anything.
My nephews are like, they're always like, Manolis, can you get us some mushrooms? Like, well, when I was a kid, I just got my own mushrooms.
Like what mushrooms?
Like magic mushrooms.
Oh, I thought you were.
No.
We're talking about food.
Yes.
Well,
Well, so was
like
Manolis.
Yeah.
He eats them like they're regular mushrooms.
Yeah. I didn't ask my dad
on.
where to get mushrooms.
No.
Seriously.
We stood out in front of the beer store and waited for some guy to come along and said, "Hey, mister, can you buy us a case of beer?" We went out and got our own damn beer, right? Sandra, it's been wonderful having you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. The Canadian Association of Stand-Up Comedians. Give me the website one more time.
CanadianStandup.ca.
CanadianStandup.ca. We would love for you to visit the website, find out what little you can do to help make stand-up comedy an art form in this country, because it is very important. It's important to us and fans of this radio station. It's got to be important to you, because this is what people come to this station for, stand-up comedy, and we want you to get involved. So standupcanada.ca.
CanadianStandup.ca.
CanadianStandup.ca. Don't worry, I'll get it right eventually. And don't forget to look for Sandra's wonderful documentary, The Mayor of Comedy. Sandra Battalini, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
How do we follow you on social media?
Twitter, Sandra Batt, B-A-T-T. My website, sandrabattallini.net.
Okay.
Facebook, Sandra Battalini.
Yeah.
Boom.
Easy.
It's
Boom.
Instagram, same. It's Sandra Battalini.
Same.
Yeah.
Excellent. Manolis Antanos, what do you got to say? You got something you written down there?
Yeah, Tyler Morrison, comedian that I like.
Yeah.
Just worked with him. Funny guy. Check him out. He's got a new comedy album coming out. It'll be on iTunes. Check him out.
Tyler Morrison. Check him out on iTunes. And Patrick Coppolino, Levity Comedy Club, cooking. This is really things really cook up now that you get into the winter months and stuff.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of shows going on. There's the pro shows on Friday and Saturday. There's Wednesday night amateur night, and then also you do some special.
Yeah, we
events.
do one-offs. We have the Women of Comedy show coming up. We do a Tinder Tales series. Just, all kinds of independent shows. We do a monthly Show Up, Go Up now, too, which is exciting.
A what?
It's like
A monthly what?
Show Up, Go Up. So it's just literally like 30 comics show up.
Oh, great.
They are the audience, basically. And like literally anyone who shows up gets on. And we'll just run the show till the last comic's done.
Well, you do that
Amazing.
once a month.
Yeah, once a month.
That's-
It's always on a Monday, usually the third Monday of the month. But
Awesome.
You can find it at levitycomedyclub.com.
LevityComedyClub.com. You can follow Patrick at Levity Comedy Club. And as usual, Patrick, you always, what was I going to say?
I have no idea.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
What?
You get nothing?
What'd you say?
I don't know. I had something in my mind, and you're not picking up on it. Okay.
I missed the first part
I want
of
us
the
to
sentence.
take a picture. Are we all going to take a picture?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to take a picture. Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
will
yeah.
absolutely take a picture. Thank you, everybody, for listening this Friday at 4:20. We appreciate it. And until we get a chance to talk to you again in 7 days, have an awesome weekend.
Yeah.